Hello.
Hello, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Awesome.
Hello.
Perfect.
Hello.
I'll be
Good
with you guys
afternoon.
in just a second. I'm just looking at all the presentations,
All right.
and I am done. So we can start. Is everybody here?
Mhm.
Yes.
Everybody's here. I love it. Oh my
Are you
God,
able to
this
hear me,
is.
Mr. Volk?
I can hear you.
How are you doing?
I just don't know who just said something. Aaron?
Yes, that was me.
All right, Jordan, you there?
Yeah, I'm right here.
Awesome. Jacob, can I hear you?
Yep.
Awesome.
Hello.
Just make sure you guys go nice and close to the mic. Speak nice and clearly. And if you feel so inspired, turn on your camera. So when I look at the video later, I can see your face, because unfortunately the video recording of this, I'm recording this by the way, does not show your name on the rectangle. It just shows a gray rectangle, so I won't know who's all in here. But what I'm going to do is take a screenshot. It's just a little more personal when people have their face on the screen. And if my ugly face is on the screen, all you guys are much more handsome than I am. You can certainly go on there. Okay, I got that saved. No one is daring. Well, okay, maybe later you'll become more brave. All
I
right.
got a bad haircut. That's why I don't want to do it.
I don't have a haircut at all. Look at my freaking hair. Look at this.
I look bad. Trust me.
It's pretty
I look
horrible.
bald. I look pretty bald. I'm not gonna lie.
Small children scream when they see me. Old ladies cry when they see me, and I'm not even kidding. Okay. Oh no, wait, that was just my mom. She always cries. But anyway, all right. We'll figure out who goes first in just a second. Let me just tell you a couple of basic bits of information about how we're going to do this. So one of you guys is obviously going to go first, and then the second guy, and then the third, and we're all going to stay for everybody's presentation. With 3 people, we should be done in half an hour or so ish, maybe even faster. It shouldn't take really long. But we'll stay so everybody listens to each other's thing. And then when you are presenting, I'd like you to speak nice and loud and clearly. Just go through your presentation, and I'll show you how to share your screen in just a second. And then just tell us like the interesting stuff, like the important stuff. Don't read your slides with like boring, like trivial details or stats or stuff. Kind of maybe skip that. And if you skip anything that I want to hear about, I'll say something. I'll interrupt you. While the person is presenting, the rest of the people are going to be quiet. And if you have a question that, if you hear something that you don't understand or you're curious about, you want to know more, type it in the chat. So you can click on the chat thing. That'll make the chat pop up on the right. You can just type it in there, and then we can look at that later so the person doesn't get interrupted too much. I will do my best not to interrupt, but I might interject here and there with some stupid comments or a question or whatever, because I can't help myself. Plus, I'm the boss, so I get to do that. All right, so for screen sharing, if you guys all want to just try this. Oh, wait, I have to allow you, so let me just do that. Allow share. Okay, allow share screen. Should work now. So what you're going to have to do is go to the middle green button on the bottom that says share screen. Now, I just want to warn you, if you click on it now, we're going to see what you have on your screen. So just don't click it, just find the button without clicking. Once you do that, all of us can see everything you have on your screen, which makes you want to think a little bit about, what do I have on my screen that I might not want people to see? So close anything that's embarrassing or private emails or, whatever. The Justin Bieber fan club site that you're on, maybe you don't want people to see that or something. So close that first. And then once you share your screen, we can all see what's on your screen. All you got to do is go to your presentation, start hitting the present button, and then you can kind of, click your way through it as needed and talk through the presentation. This does not have to be like a professional presentation. You don't have to be perfect. If you mispronounce something or if you don't know something, don't worry about it. It's not that big a deal. But it would be nice if, hopefully your presentation has most or all of the parts that are required that I'm looking for. Let's see. I'm going to cough for a second here. I thought I hit the mute. I didn't actually hit the mute. Sorry about that. Okay, I'm stupid. So does everybody understand what we're doing?
Yes.
Everybody good? No questions?
No questions.
All right. Okay. Does any of you guys want to go first?
I'll go second.
Oh, well, okay. Sounds good. Then it's between the other guys. I'm going to pick Jacob. You're going to go first. So what I'd like you to do now is find the share screen button, click it, then find your presentation, either on Google Drive or through Classroom. You can click on it there. Yeah, there you go. Everybody else, you can go to view options at the top and you can make it bigger. Like if it's too small, on my computer, it's too small because I got a 4K thing going, and I'm going to go to fit to window. Once I go to fit to window, it gets bigger. Then you can see it better. And it looks to me like he's already in present mode. So this guy knows what he's doing. And he's got Ebola, which is a real interesting one, a scary one. You know, we worry about the coronavirus. And, you know, obviously it's pretty bad and it's affecting people and stuff like that. But man, Ebola is so much scarier. Just glad we don't have to worry about stuff like that here. All right, Jacob, you may start when you're ready.
Okay. Can you hear me all good?
Yep, it's very good.
So mine obviously is Ebola. The history of Ebola. It was first ever discovered back in 1976 near the Ebola River. In the current day and age Democratic Republic of Congo. And then between 1979 and 1994, after the first time it was discovered, there were 0 outbreaks from those dates. And then the largest outbreak ever occurred back in 2014 to 2016 with over 28,000 cases, which was like in this general area that got the largest area, and then a tiny bit up here.
I think that's the one people were worried about was going into other countries too, right? It was going in other continents. Some in
Everyone
the
was
US.
scared about it.
Yeah.
The mosquitoes flying from there and somehow getting over to the United States and everyone getting infected in the United States. There is currently a vaccine that helps. However, it does not fully get rid of the chance of Ebola, and it does not immediately get rid of Ebola itself. It's called Ebola Zaire vaccine. That is the name of it. Its code name is Ervbo, I think is how you say it, or Ervebo.
Ervebo.
It was created by Merck Sharp and Dome Corp. And it prevents the disease in patients above 18. There, I don't think, is one for children or anyone under 18 because there could be side effects for children that would be worse than it is for an 18-year-old. So I don't think they really ever tried it on children. There is no specific way of treating Ebola or curing it. They just try to help it by treating it as it is and go for each of the symptoms as they get it. Because there can be different systems for each person, and that in the case that one symptom is different, they have to treat that specific symptom and make sure that that specific symptom is something from Ebola and not something else at the same time. And there is no current antiviral drug. However, there are ones being tested, and the survival rate was statistically higher by, I think, 10% or so than what was normal for non-antiviral. So they're trying to get a virus or antiviral drug, but they have not completed it yet. The geography of it was mainly all discovered in Africa along the Ebola River, which is in present-day Congo. The largest ever outbreak was in Guinea, Liberia, and Sierra Leone mainly. However, it did stretch to other places. The Zaire Ebola virus, like on the map, is the one that is the worst outbreak ever. That, obviously, if you guys look at the map, you can see stretched down in the like central or center of Africa, down in South Africa, and on the left side over in the west section of Africa. It is the one that got the worst infected rate and everything like that, and it hurt them as Africa a whole the most. It is transmitted through direct contact of bodily fluids like blood, vomit, urine, and other bodily fluids, or like open wounds. And if an infected person's bodily fluids touch a non-infected person, regardless of the infected being alive or not, they can get infected. The main way back when it first was discovered was because I believe a bat bit a human and that got them infected.
I've heard something about monkeys or chimps having it. Did you read anything about that?
I did hear about monkeys, but not chicks or anything like that.
No,
I
not chicks, chimpanzees.
Oh, then yes, I did.
Yeah.
I heard that they were like a main reason that it started to.
Yeah. And you mentioned mosquitoes earlier. I don't think it's mosquitoes. Did you just accidentally say that, or did you mean mosquitoes?
I accidentally said that, yeah.
Okay. Okay. I'm really glad it's not mosquitoes, by the way,
No.
because that would be way worse.
So some of the medical signs, these are very common symptoms for like any disease. However, there's high fever, headaches, sore throats, weakness, stomach pain, and lack of appetite. The fatality rate on average is 50%, which sounds like a lot, but there is actually a lot of people that can survive from it. And then there is long-term damage possible, which are like nerve damages from the symptoms, or they can like stay weak through their whole life due to or based off the amount of weakness they had during the actual time, or some of their muscles can get weaker. And then some of the effects, there can be difficulty in one of the following things among the survivors, either vision, hearing, mobility, self-care, communication, or cognition. And they can also form clots clots can also form in the or in block the kidney and liver, sorry. And then on the bottom, that image shows like how bad the Ebola gets over the first 12 days. It goes from barely infecting just the like top half of the human, and then eventually at like the 12th day, taking over the whole human's body.
It's pretty fast.
Which is extremely fast for this or for any disease, pretty much. But it takes over their whole body, and then they can either die or by chance survive. And then I didn't find much on the detailed structure, but I did find that it is an RNA, and that there are several viral
Hemorrhagic.
Yeah, that word. Fevers.
Yeah, it means hemorrhage means it's a fancy medical word for bleeding. So hemorrhagic fever, Ebola hemorrhagic fever is a bleeding fever is what it means, which sounds bad because it is really bad. Go ahead.
And then down in the bottom right corner is the little diagram of what the actual Ebola virus looks like.
That virus is actually really unique looking. Most viruses are like cylinders or spheres. They look like a little ball with sticks coming out of it. The Ebola virus looks like a worm. It's very unique and very different from other viruses, making it even, more mysterious and scarier. When the people first discovered it, they were freaked out about how it looked so different from other viruses.
And then I found some information about the life cycle, but I couldn't put it in like my own words that I would understand. I know that
If only you would have had a better biology teacher freshman year that taught this stuff better. The guy you had, he might have been really handsome. He sounds like an idiot.
I know that it would like go from any like chimpanzee or monkey, and it would live in their body for a bit, and then it would transfer. Yeah. But I don't remember the exact life cycle because the way that they had it, it was in like scientific words, and I didn't understand it.
I'll explain it to you quickly. I'll just simplify it really far down. There's two life cycles in viruses: lytic or lysogenic. Lytic is fast, like it makes you sick right away and it kills you really fast. Lysogenic is one that stays with you for a long time, for like years. Like AIDS, for example, is lysogenic, and it goes dormant and it just kind of stays and doesn't do anything for a long time. Does that make sense? Herpes is another example of like lysogenic, where it's in you for years and years and years, but it doesn't always do something. It takes a break. whereas Ebola is lytic, which means it immediately acts really fast. That's what it means. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right, cool. Hey,
Mhm.
the only other thing that was missing that I was kind of hoping you would talk about is the exact effect that it has on cells. Like what cell in the body does it affect? What part of the body? And I know you said like, it affects all these different parts like the liver and this and that, whatever. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about specifically the cells. Does that ring a bell at all? And if you don't know, it's okay, just so you don't know.
I don't remember the exact one off the top of my head, but I do know that it does affect one.
Did you say lung?
Um,
Because it's okay if you don't know it, I'll tell you. Because
I don't know.
I do happen to know
I
this
do not.
because I studied Ebola quite a bit. This is really scary. And by the way, this is not like part of your grade, or I'm not like reprimanding you for not having this. I just think this is really interesting and scary, and that's why I want to tell you guys, if that's okay. So don't feel bad that I'm, talking about this now, whatever. It affects the lining of the capillaries, and capillaries are the tiny little blood vessels that bring oxygen and food to the cells. They're the tiniest of the little blood vessels. They're smaller than arteries and veins and stuff like that. So Ebola destroys the capillaries and makes them leaky. That means the blood leaks out of them, which means you start to bleed on the inside all over the place, which is basically what's so horrible about it. And that's why it's called hemorrhagic fever, because it causes this internal bleeding all over the body. So then when we say, well, what organs are affected? It's like, well, all the organs basically, it's because it causes this bleeding everywhere. But it happens in the lungs and in the intestines and in the stomach, so that people have to vomit up this black tar-like sludge, which is basically all the blood that went into the stomach and the intestines. It's really, really bad, really kind of freaky. So anyway, I just thought I'd share that. Sorry, that's kind of like gross and scary stuff, but it certainly is interesting and worth knowing about Ebola, that we have to respect this thing about how dangerous it is and how terrible it is. Does that make sense?
Yep.
So anyway, all right, nice job. So that was the first one. We got that done. Took maybe a little longer than I thought, but that's okay. Who was the one that volunteered to go second? Was that
Me.
Jordan? That was
Yes.
you. So you have to, Jacob, you have to unshare. There you go. Nice job. Jordan, you're going to share, and you're going to be careful about what's on your screen first, and then just go to your presentation. There you go. Perfect. And it's already in present mode. And by the way, you guys, when you want to advance a slide, I am pretty sure you can just hit the arrow keys on the keyboard. You don't even have to click with the mouse. So if that's easier to just click right and left to go forward or backwards, you can do that, unless you're using your phone for this or whatever. But if you're on a computer and you have arrow keys, you can do that. Now, if you have a Chromebook, I don't think they have arrow keys. I don't really know, to be honest. So, all right, Jordan, whenever you're ready, you may start. Keep in mind, only tell us the interesting stuff. Don't tell us the boring trivia stuff. So we can get through this thing. All right. All
Okay.
yours.
You can hear me good?
Oh yeah, really nice.
Okay, perfect. So I did measles, and the vaccine for measles is the MMR shot, and they took all like the first letters of the or the viruses that it like helps, and it's measles, mumps, and rubella.
Yep, that's good.
Who discovered it was a Scottish physician. His name was Franchise Home, and that was in 1757. It was isolated by John F. Enders and Thomas C. Pebble, and that was in Boston, I'm pretty sure. And then where it was found and originated, the virus was found in a hospital in Boston, Massachusetts, and then it originated in West Africa. The virus is transmitted in a few different ways. It is person to person and also bodily fluids, and it's also an airborne virus. Measles has many similar symptoms to a fever, like cough, runny nose, loss of appetite, and sneezing. And you also get body aches from it. And you can also develop a reddish brown rash.
Ooh, a picture of that rash would be awesome. You don't have any pictures of that, do you?
No, I don't.
A nice
Luckily.
gross rash to look at. Was yours the ones
Yeah,
that
no.
needed pictures where I said you need images? Was that you? I don't remember.
I'm pretty sure, yes.
You don't have any pictures at all?
No, I got one of the virus.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, it's coming up.
Then I won't cry too much about it.
But for like around 400 to 500 people die yearly of the virus, and then 1,000 people on average are hospitalized in a year, and then 1,000 suffer from swelling of the brain because of like measles as a lasting effect.
Wow.
And then the virus is RNA, and the genes are part of the genius morbillivirus or morbillivirus.
Morbillivirus.
Oh, here's a picture right here.
Ah,
is what I
yes.
was
So
talking
that's
about.
like one of those circle ones, that I told you about. That's more
Yeah,
like a
with the stuff
normal
coming out.
looking virus versus the Ebola, which is that weird worm thing. Do you want to pronounce all those funny words on the right? I'm
If you
kidding. You
want
don't
me
have.
to, but I don't
No,
think
yeah,
I
I'm
can.
just kidding. They're just a lot of
Take a
weird science
while.
words. Yeah, no, I'm just kidding.
But the virus is made up of many proteins and membranes. And then the life cycle it lasts on average a week, but it could take a little bit longer to, hold on, you guys are over the thing. Oh, to feel 100% better. And it could also go away quicker because it is a virus. So it depends on how your immune system fights it off and all that.
Okay.
And that's it.
So I'll just make a couple comments because I can't help myself. But have you guys heard about people not wanting their kids to be vaccinated? Like people
Yes.
on the internet, a lot
Yeah.
on social media, you see posts about like, oh, vaccines are bad and vaccines cause autism and things like that. You see that all the time. I do at least. So the MMR
Yeah.
vaccine is the one they're talking about. That's the one they're talking about with the autism because there was about 15 years ago or so, I don't remember when it was, there was a guy, or maybe longer, it was like over 20 years ago, I think. There was this doctor in England who said that MMR vaccine causes autism because he wanted to sell this other vaccine um, to the hospitals and stuff because he wanted to make money. So he just lied about MMR causing autism, and he published this paper that had all lies in it, and people believed it for like so long. And then they found out that it was all lies, and they proved him wrong again and again and again, that he was a big liar and a scam artist. But even now, 20 years later, people still post on Facebook, oh yeah, MMR causes autism, so don't have your kids vaccinated. Can you believe this? Is that crazy?
Crazy.
How dumb people are that they like fall for these kinds of scams and stuff like that. Don't, anyway. Um, Measles is way more serious than people think. Like measles sounds funny. It has like this funny name, measles. Like we think, oh, it's not that bad with that name, but it's actually much more serious than people think. And we had measles like wiped out. And now that all these people are not getting their kids vaccinated, it's coming back. Measles is now a problem again because there's so many kids running around not vaccinated. So anyway, it's just something to think about. And if you guys grow up and get married and have kids, please have them vaccinated, okay? Do me a favor and be responsible.
All right.
Everybody heard me? I heard one person respond.
Yup.
I heard you.
Yup. All right, Jordan, you got to unshare. Thank you for your
Okay.
presentation.
Yeah. Let me just move again real quick. All right. Oh, right here. I see.
Unshare. There you go. We're back. And I still don't see your lovely faces. And last but not least, we have Aaron.
Yes, sir.
So what you got to do now is share your screen and then find your presentation. Hopefully you already have it ready.
Yes, I do. Do I just hit
Now, if you,
share desktop?
yeah, that's correct.
Share.
That worked. Lovely.
All right. Can
Beautiful.
everybody hear me clearly?
Yes.
All right. So my topic was hantavirus. Here's a cute little mouse right here. The history of hantavirus. In November 1993, hantavirus caused the Four Corners to have an outbreak. Research was in progress. CDC used tissue from a deer mouse that had been carrying the hantavirus. And here's just the global what's the word?
Map
Graph or
or
map
chart, yeah.
of where how it affected the world. The darker color is like the most severe. This is like moderate, or the lighter orange. This gives a brief idea. And over here, it's like nothing's over here. It's just blank. So it didn't like spread that far.
Interesting.
Th-
Hey, you know how I said I wasn't going to interrupt you? Well, I lied. I'm going to interrupt you. And
okay.
I'm just going to put you on the spot. Why not? Go back one slide. There you go. You said it happened in the four corners. Can you tell us what the four corners are?
Four corners. I think it's shoot. I would say countries, but since
Mm-mm.
there's four oceans.
Okay, I'll give everybody else a chance. Does anybody know what the four corners is?
No.
It's a place in the southwest of the United States where four states match,
Oh,
where they four states come together, and you can stand in one spot and actually put a foot in like different states. Do you know what I mean? There's like
yeah.
this one point on the ground where all four states have their border. It's super weird.
Hmm.
And
I didn't know that.
I think it's like uh Utah, Colorado,
Oh,
maybe. What about
Colorado.
and what's the other one? Maybe New Mexico?
Those are the four corners.
Yeah, that's
I
where it
didn't know that.
happened. That's where we think a hantavirus like this tropical disease that's in like South America and Africa and stuff
It's
like that.
not though.
But it actually happened here in the United States where all these people got sick and died from hantavirus that they got from mice.
I
It's
understand
really
now.
scary. So that's what the
It's
four
you.
corners is. It's kind of interesting. So
Thank you for
I
telling
I
that.
only
I
the only
understand
reason I know that is because I went there about 3 years ago. My family took a trip and we went to that spot where you can see all the four states all in one place. It's kind of fun. So if you ever travel out west, check it out. But don't
now.
get
Okay,
hantavirus, please. Don't pick up
I
any
won't.
mice, even if
Oh
they're
shit.
cute. All right, so go ahead.
Um, for vaccine, there is no treatment, cure, or vaccine for hantavirus. But if a person is noticed and treated right away, there is a chance that they may be recovered from the ICU for getting medical attention. I just said that. Geography. In 1978, the fever came from the. See, that's what I mean now. So I messed up because of the four corners. Dang.
What do you mean?
Because it became, or it started in the four corners inside the United States.
Oh
Then
no,
flew.
that's not where it started. There was an outbreak there.
Oh, the outbreak.
There was an
Okay.
outbreak. It happened somewhere else in
All right.
Asia here or whatever. Yeah,
That's my fault. Never mind then.
that's
And
fine.
that
The way you said it was fine.
the fever came from near the Hanten River in South Korea. And here's just the map of it. How does it spread? Hantavirus is spread when virus containing particles from rodent urine, droppings, or saliva are steered into the air. So it's pretty much an airborne virus.
Hold on one second. How do they get stirred up? What's the most common way that this kind of stuff would get stirred into the air if the mouse poop is on the ground?
It doesn't have to be in the ground. It could be in like a garage
Yeah, but let's
or
say I'm saying it's on the floor of your garage or your shed, because I always see a lot of mouse poop in my garden shed. When does it get stirred up? When people do
when
what?
pick it up and throw it
No,
away.
no, most people don't just pick up poop with their hands. What do you do
No,
to
that's
clean
not
up
what I meant.
stuff on the what do you do to clean up stuff on the floor?
Mop,
Anybody can chime in here, by the way. If you had a bunch of dirt on the floor, how would you clean it up?
mop it,
Sweeping it.
Sweep it.
sweep,
When people
sweep.
sweep and it gets dusty and the dust gets kicked up from sweeping, that's how people got it in New Mexico down there
Because
at the
the air
four corners,
particles
is they were
just
cleaning
go
that
into the
up
air.
and then it got dusty in the air and they breathed in like the particles from the mouse poop and then they got the hantavirus. It's super, super crazy. And then they can transmit it to other people, obviously, once you have it by sneezing and stuff like that. But that's how it originally got into the people. So I always get super nervous when I clean out my garden shed and I'm sweeping up the mouse poop. I put water on it, like I spray water on it first so it doesn't get so dusty.
Smart.
Just something to think about. All right, go ahead.
Symptoms: fatigue, a large amount, I would say, because it can attack the lungs and fill it with fluid, shortness of breath, fever, and muscle aches, such as large muscle groups, the thighs, hips, back, and shoulders, and this is harmful. RNA that affects in the human genes. All hantaviral genes are encoded in the negative genome complementary sense,
Ooh,
and this is
biology.
it. And this is a graph of how it would affect or look inside the gene. G2, G1, just labeling. Um, that is it, unfortunately.
Well, I mean, you had a lot of good stuff. I'm looking at my list here. What are we missing? You had geography. You had how it's transmitted. You had the
I thought I had more to
what
be honest.
organ would you say it affects the most of the
Organ?
body? Yeah, what in the body does it affect the most?
Hmm. I would say the lungs,
Yes, that's exactly right. So
immune
it's like
system.
a horrible pneumonia basically in the
So
lungs. That's
it
correct.
would be like a coronavirus, but not from humans. It would be from animals because it's airborne.
Yeah, Hanta is actually a lot worse than corona in terms of deadliness. It's much more deadly because corona is only like 1% or 2% or whatever or less, if somebody's young and healthy. But Hanta
Yeah,
was killing young people. Hanta was killing like young, healthy 25-year-olds and stuff were dying from it. It was crazy. People didn't know what was going on.
and that's why like coronavirus isn't like killing more people. I would say because it's I don't know
Corona is probably
how to
killing
word
more
it.
total because so many more people have it.
Oh,
But in terms of like, if you got Corona or if you got Hanta, if you just got one or the other, Hanta would be a lot worse in terms of risk of dying. Does that make sense?
yes, it makes sense.
Okay. All right. Thanks for your presentation. You can unshare. There's just a few things I want to say to you guys and then we're done. So how do we do on time? Well, that was about a half an hour, right? That's not too bad. Okay, what I need you guys to do, all three of you, and I'm sorry that I don't have this in front of me right now, so I don't exactly know what your status is in Infinite Campus. Like, I don't know if you guys are passing or failing right now, or if you're missing things. What I need you to do is look in Infinite Campus to see if there's anything that's NE, which is a 0, that's like failing. Not,
Okay.
what does NE stand for again? Not, no evidence. Oh yeah, no evidence, that's it. All these freaking letters, I don't know what they, okay, anyway, if you have anything that's IE, which is insufficient evidence, or NE, no evidence, you need to make it up. You need to get it turned in. So you got your credit for your presentation and for, the Zoom thing. So for your project that you did, the slideshow, and for presenting it, you're going to get credit. You're good to go. What you guys need to do is make sure you have your folding at home turned in and anything else that we did before the shutdown. If there's anything that's missing, that's NE, take care of it if you want to pass the semester. Does that make
May I ask a
sense?
question?
You please do.
I was unable to do the folding at home. I kind of emailed you, and I think we
And
wrote something.
I said, what if there's an alternative, right?
Yes,
So did you do
I
the
didn't catch
alternative?
that. I didn't catch that.
You didn't see
The
my email back?
alternative. I'll
Well,
probably have to go look at it after this.
that was about 2 weeks ago, dude.
I know. I'm just asking just to make sure.
So you haven't done the alternative?
I think I did.
Look on Google Classroom and find the alternative and do it. Make sure you do it. Okay, because without that, you will fail. Without it, you will fail. So Jordan, did you get that in? I don't remember.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I did. Yeah,
You're
I think
pretty sure.
I did the original one though, not the
Oh, you actually loaded it on your computer and ran it.
Yeah, yeah.
What is your username on Folding at Home?
I
Was
just
yours
did
like,
my school one. I'm pretty sure.
does it say Jordan? Because I know
Yeah,
there was one that said like anonymous or something.
yeah. I'm pretty
One
sure it
said
said my name. I
anonymous.
can check. I can
If
check
yours
though.
says anonymous, can you please change it to your name? Because I want to see who's contributing what on there.
Yeah, I'll check.
Because
Yeah, I'll
some of the
check.
kids that are on there put their actual name and some just put some like weird name or just anonymous. And if you put your real name in, then I can tell your computer is contributing so much to this. Then maybe I'll give you extra credit if if your points are decent on that.
Okay.
'Cause you can keep it running after we're done with the project. I still have it on my computer after I installed it. I'm up to like, I don't know, 600,000 points or something on mine. You can see the score when you go to that chart. You can see your score. Jacob, I think you did it too, right? You did
Yeah.
folding at home, right?
Did the normal folding at home, yeah.
And so are you on there under your name?
Yeah, it's Jacob G. I've got
So
4,117
you're
points because I
up at
have
4,000. Keep it running and see if your points go up. And if they go above a certain thing, maybe I'll give you a couple extra bonus points in the grade book. Deal?
Yep.
And then Aaron, you please look on Google Classroom for the alternative folding at
I'm
home
doing that right
assignment.
now.
The alternative one is not fun to do. It's like a research paper where you have to look things up and write. It's a pain. The actual assignment, the not alternative one, is way more fun because you get to mess around on your computer and whatever. But I'm wondering if maybe we can get it to work. Do you have a Windows computer or do you only have a Chromebook?
I only have a Chromebook.
Okay, well then, if you don't have access to any Mac or any Windows computer and there's no possible way you could borrow one or
I don't have an.
no way,
I'm not able to do it now.
okay, then do the alternative. And just
All
do
right,
a
that's
good
what I'm
job
doing
on
right
that
now.
and I'll give you credit on that then. Okay?
Okay. Thank you.
All right, so just make sure your grade book has no missing stuff and then you can pass, get a decent grade. And you know what's been happening is the kids that have been turning all the stuff in, most of their grades, those kids that are done with stuff, their grades are like A's and B's. And there's hardly any like C's or D's, and it's all either F's or A's and B's. And the kids that have F's are the ones that don't have the stuff missing, and the other ones are getting pretty much A's and B's. Now, some of you guys that are super, super late on both the virus thing and the folding at home thing, you're not going to get an A or a B anymore on that with the late credit. You're going to get just like a passing, just so you don't fail. But anyway, get that done. Once you have all that done, good news is you're done with my class. That's the end. This was the last assignment that I'm going to put out there on Google Classroom. So once you get all your other stuff, missing stuff in, you're finished with the class. And then you can focus on your English or math or whatever else, history, whatever else you have left where you have a lot of work. Or maybe you can take some time off if you're done with a lot of your classes and sleep in and watch some Netflix. Everybody clear on that?
Yes.
Yep.
Now, Jacob and Aaron, I think you guys are juniors. Am I right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Jordan, you're a senior. Did I get that right?
Yep, I'm a senior.
Okay. And are you good to go for graduation?
Yep, I just have to pass every class and I'm good.
And are you going to pass every class?
Yep.
Okay.
Hopefully, right?
Yeah. Start with mine. Make sure you pass that, and then make sure you pass everything else. And like I said, if you get the stuff turned in, there's no way you can't pass.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I got
Going
everything turned in. There might
going
be
to
like
pass
something
you.
like that was before we got to
Yeah.
the corona.
All right. So just check that out and make sure you're good to go on all that.
Okay.
All right. Thanks, guys, for coming in, and thanks for not missing this appointment. I appreciate that you guys showed up and that you did a nice job with your presentations. And thanks for taking my class. And I'm sorry that it worked out like this. I was really hoping we could build our C cars and play with them and do experiments with them. And it kind of sucks that we didn't get to do that, but such is life. It's the way it goes.
It is what it is.
It is what it is. Yeah. All right, guys, I'm going to hang this thing up then. All right. Unless you have more questions.
No
Nope.
more.
Good
No,
to go.
I'm good.
All right. See you guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.